What's going on, guys? This is Guys at Magic. Tonight we're bringing another of our spoiler videos. So we have more of the Crimson Vow spoilers. These are just going to be the rares and the mythics that we're going to be talking about today. If you want to catch all of the commons and uncommons, make sure that you also follow us on Twitter. So here for today, you have your two favorite little spokespeople here. Myself, David, and also Shane. Shane, say what's up.
What's up? Hey, also, don't follow our Twitter. Follow our Instagram. Thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, so the first card that we're going to talk about today is Old Rutstein. Old Rutstein is a black and a green for a legendary creature, Human Peasant. It's a 1/4 with, whenever it enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If a land card is milled this way, create a treasure token. If a creature card is milled this way, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. And if a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, create a blood token. There's a lot going on here. Shane, help me make sense of this card.
It does everything, dude. It mills, and it mills. I don't really know. I think the blood token is relevant for the set coming up. That's cool. The 1/1 is cool because it's an insect, and the treasure's cool. 3 mana. I mean, is he good? I don't know, David. You know Magic better than I do.
I don't think so at all. So I like the treasure. I don't think I care about the 1/1 green insect at all because there's no insect tribal themes whatsoever in this set.
Yeah.
I think the mill might be kind of cool. There's a couple of cards like the disturb mechanic that we've seen that this might help to turn on. And then the blood tokens, I guess they're supposed to synergize with a lot of the vampires that we've seen so far. To be completely honest, though, I don't think I'm a big fan of the blood tokens. I think this card is interesting. I don't necessarily think it's amazing. How about you?
It's good against this would be good in the. We looked at a couple cards last that were more of a slow, mid-rangey, like control-y. So go good in one of those decks, like or the one that Hunter and I talked about last couple videos. It was like a wall or something. It's like a 0/4 wall. It kind of does the same thing where it's just gonna slow down the board if they're playing its aggro. It's kind of good, I guess, but it's turn 3, so it's kind of slow for that. But I'm sure someone will find a home for it, maybe.
I gotcha. I do think it's really interesting that it says Human Peasant on there. Have we ever gotten a peasant card type before?
Yeah, it wasn't like the white creature from. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we have.
All right, I can't remember.
I'll
I
have to
just
do
think
some
it
research.
strikes me as interesting here. All right, so the next card that we're going to be talking about is Hive-Heart Shaman. Hive-Heart Shaman is a creature. It's a human shaman. It says, whenever Hive-Heart Shaman attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card that does not share a land type with a land you control and put it on the battlefield. Then shuffle. It also has an ability where you can pay 5 and a green. It says, create a 1/1 green insect creature token and then put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Activate only as a sorcery. This thing is a 3/5.
Well, there's your insect cat. There it is, dude.
Another card with a ton of stuff going on today.
Insect tribal, dude. It's a thing, baby.
We're gonna make it by the end of the spoiler video today.
This seems like a limited bomb. What do you think?
I don't know.
Something to do with the mana, dude? Come on.
Well, the first ability here to me is kind of odd. So, like, if you're playing unlimited, chances are you're probably only playing a 2-color deck, and by the time you've got 4 mana, you've probably got both kinds of lands that you're running in your deck. So, the first ability would whiff.
Oh, a land type rip.
Never mind. I mean, so I feel like this. I almost feel like this is like a commander plant more than anything, just because in that case, I mean, you. I'm not trying to say that you can't run 5 colors in standard, but I feel like you're more likely to run like 4 or 5 colors in a commander game than what you are in standard. So maybe that first ability hits more often there.
Or like, what about someone that wants to run 5 colors in draft, dude?
If you are ballsy enough to go for a 5-color draft, more power to you. This card is great.
If I open up Hive-Heart in limited, I'll make a 5-color deck for you.
All right. This is going to be totally, dude, your pre-release promo.
Yeah.
The creating a green insect creature token on this thing, it's cool mana sink. I think I completely agree with you in that is very much so a limited ability, and then the 4 mana for a 3/5 I think is just kind of okay.
Yeah, I agreed.
All right. No more closing remarks on that one. We're going to move on to the next card. This one is Dream Chain Spirit. It is 1 and 2 blue for a creature spirit. It has flying and states at the beginning of combat on your turn. Choose up to 1. tap target creature, or target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. It's a 3/1. You're the spirits, dude. Take this one away.
This is nuts, dude. This is fucking nuts. This is like you either attack in and win, or they attacked you and they don't get to untap. And now you're just beating 3 in the air every time. Like, I feel like this is, if in the spirit deck, a 4 of.
Yeah, I can definitely see this as being run as a 4 of. I love the abilities here. You can tap down a creature that you're kind of having issues with, and then once it is tapped down, I don't know, if they did end up attacking you or tapping it down on their own accord, you can keep it tapped down, so it's just going to kind of remain out of the fight past that point. And if you are running multiples of this, you can forcibly tap down, and then you can forcibly prevent it from untapping too. I think this card
Really
is
good.
definitely a powerhouse.
Yep.
Yeah,
I want it.
I don't care the fact that this thing has 1 toughness. I don't think that's going to matter in most cases. That 3 power in the air.
It doesn't, or it shouldn't at least. And you've had things that are going to be like buffing spirits and shit. Like, this is crazy. This is a good card.
Yep, completely agree. Next up, we're going to move on to what I think is probably my favorite card that was spoiled today, and this is Eruth, Tormented Prophet. This is 1, a blue and a red for a legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 2/4 that states, if you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library instead. You may play those cards this turn.
I think you should go first, because this card is pushed as fuck.
I think that this is such a huge trade-off, and I love the decisions that this card is going to make you make. So, if you would draw a card, you're going to exile the top 2 cards instead, which means that you're not putting cards into your hand anymore. So your hand is essentially, it's going to dwindle and hit a point where it's going to go away.
Or you have no max hand size anymore.
I guess, yeah, so long as you're not casting the cards from your hand. But I mean, you're not drawing any cards past that, so like your hand size is just going to stay stagnant.
Yeah, but let's say you have cards that draw you cards. Let's say you have a card that draws you 2 cards. You exile 4. And you have 4 cards that you can use.
You
forever,
can't.
Right? Until this card's gone.
No, you may play those cards this turn.
Oh, I didn't read that.
So like it's got some nutty upside to it where it's like you're kind of pseudo doubling how many cards I guess you would see over the course of a turn, and that like if you would draw 1, you'll draw 2. So if you have some kind of effect in play where it's like you would draw 4, you'll draw, like, air quotes, draw 8.
Yeah.
Or really you're exiling the top 8. So you can dig through your deck at a cyclic rate with this, but your hand is never actually going to get better.
Yeah, as long as this is on the field, right? So like, this gets dealt with, or if you bounce this, you can bounce it and then draw the cards, right, or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like the fact that this thing ramps your velocity up to like a 10 and that you're going to start churning through your deck. I think the drawback on this card is very real.
Card kind of makes me think of the blue guy that said everything can't be countered. Where it's like a pretty big negative, but you can make it work for you. So that's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
All right, I can see that. I'm getting a kind of like an Arjun the Shifting Flame vibe. So if you don't remember what he does, it's whenever you cast a spell, you put your hand, I think it's on the bottom of your library, and then you draw a new hand.
That's way worse.
So it's like, no, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you're seeing cards and you're like, okay, I need to use this one right now, and if I can't use that thing, it's gone.
Yeah, I could see it being fun in EDH though as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think this is probably my favorite card of the day.
All right.
All right, next up we have Faithbound Judge is 1, a white and a white for a creature spirit soldier. It has Defender, Flying, and Vigilance. It says, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Faithbound Judge has 2 or fewer Judgment counters on it, put a Judgment counter on it. It also says, as long as Faithbound Judge has 3 or more Judgment counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. The front half of this is a 4/4. So let's talk about the front half first, and then we'll talk about the fact that this thing can disturb for 7.
This card is gasoline. This card's nuts, dude, for spirits. I love everything about this card. I think it's a 4/4, Flying and Vigilance. I get that as a defender, but put some Judgment counters, dude. And then now you have a 4/4 Flying Vigilance attacker.
It is definitely a very slow card, though. So
fine.
say for you play this thing on turn 3,
Yep.
assuming that you have the 3 mana, of course, to pay for its mana value.
Yeah.
And then you sit around for an additional 3 turns past that. So this thing isn't attacking until turn 6.
No, it's a defender, but I'm guessing you have other things doing stuff.
I mean, I would hope
This is
so.
like, yeah, this is like to protect you, I think. And then it's like, all right, I've protected you enough. I'm gonna beat face.
Yeah, I mean, once you do manage to turn this thing on, 4 mana for a flying and I'm sorry, 3 mana for a 4/4 with flying and vigilance is definitely overcosted, overrate.
Yeah. But what does it disturb to you, dude?
So in the case that this thing does die, which I feel like you might actually want this thing to, it has a disturb of 5, a white, and a white, so kind of a hefty cost. It'll come back as Sinner's Judgment. It says it's an aura. It's an aura curse, and it says enchant player. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a judgment counter on Sinner's Judgment. Then, if there are 3 or more judgment counters on it, enchanted player loses the game.
What?
And then it has the same clause as the rest of these kinds of cards, where if it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, you'll exile it instead.
Dude. That's sick. Yeah, disturbed, that's an expensive cost, but you just win the game. Like what?
So you don't necessarily win the game; they lose the game.
Sorry. I get it. Oh, someone wants us to bring up the fact that even though we're not talking about EDH, you can do things with proliferate.
Yeah, you can use and abuse different kinds of mechanics, such as proliferate, to try and accelerate this clock, either to have this thing hurry up and become a creature, or to potentially hurry up and just outright nuke a player.
Which is still nuts.
It is. I'm definitely curious though, because I feel like in a one-on-one environment, having one player lose the game, obviously that's going to be your opponent, and that just outright wins you the game because you have no opponent left. In a game of EDH, however, that oftentimes means that you're still bearing down on 2 opponents that you probably haven't interacted much with if you're focusing your time and energy on killing one of them in specific. So I definitely think that this card is very, very interesting. I think this card might still be better as kind of a finisher for maybe like a blue-white control deck, if there is one that pops up.
100%, I agree.
So very interested to see how this thing ends up kind of shaping form. I could see this popping up in standard, especially since like just the front half of this card is already really good to begin with and really slows down those aggro decks. Plus, it's got the win condition stapled on the backside.
To say that the front half alone, like let's say you never even get to the Sinner's Judgment, I'm definitely running the front half in a spirit deck that I have.
All right, so we can both agree that card is super pushed. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This next one is Cemetery Desecrator. Cemetery Desecrator is 4 a black and a black for a creature zombie. It's a 4/4 with menace, and it says, whenever it enters the battlefield or dies, exile another card from a graveyard. When you do, choose one. Remove X counters from target permanent, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Or target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the mana value of the exiled card.
I mean, seems cool, seems expensive. I don't know. I'm always thinking about these in like a standard environment, and I just don't see it.
So the upside for me is that you've exiled something pesky that your opponent was probably trying to work with in their graveyard, and you have either just killed a planeswalker because you can remove the counters from a target permanent, so you can get rid of their loyalty counters, or you've killed a creature and you've got a 4/4 with menace in play. At the same time, this is 6 mana.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess you're right. It just seems like a lot to me. Like how
It seems
often,
like it's,
besides Unlimited, how often do you see 6 mana 4/4s dropped?
yeah, I completely agree with you there. It seems like a lot to me too. I feel like I don't really want my interaction to come at 6 mana.
But I'm sure we're wrong.
I don't know. We'll
I
see.
mean,
This thing
it's
is.
cool. It's got knives and shit in them, and
Oh yeah,
it's a
definitely.
zombie tribal still.
Actually, just kind of looking in the artwork for this thing, I'm surprised it's not like a zombie giant, considering this thing is way bigger than the fence that it is like hunched up against.
True.
All right, so not super sold on that card, but let's see how this next one does. This next card that we're going to talk about is Optimistic Initiate. Optimistic Initiate is a single white mana for a creature. It's a human warlock with training. It also has an ability on it where you can pay 2 and a white to remove 2+1/+1 counters from among creatures you control to destroy target artifact or enchantment. And it starts off as a base 1/2.
Can you remind me, because I can't read the card? Training, that card gets the 1/1, right? Not the... Because Mentor, the other card, gets the 1/1.
Yes, so training this card will get the +1/+1 counter.
Got it. So you can remove counters, kill artifacts, and enchant. I mean, that seems good on a 1-mana body. It's got like good, like what's it called? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's got like a good ability. I think that seems relevant.
I think this is a card that probably plays better than it reads.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that the ability is probably pretty good, and the fact that it has training. Plus, it's not saying that you have to remove the 2+1/+1 counters from it.
Yeah, just any creatures you control.
Yeah, I think this card is actually probably going to be pretty decent. I don't know if it's going to be decent in standard. I feel like this is another card that, since if you're playing EDH, there's a ton of artifacts that get rolled around in EDH, might be pretty good there. You're blowing up your opponent's mana rocks.
Yeah, 100%. And then, I mean, you don't have to use that ability too. You can just keep growing this guy. You can make him massive. That's kind of like a oh shit button.
Good point on that, actually. I mean, this is a 1-mana 1/2 that grows in a relevant tribe, so.
Yeah. Seems like a playable card.
Next one we're moving on to. This one is Splendid Reclamation. Splendid Reclamation is actually a reprint. So it is 3 and a green for a sorcery. It says return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
That's crazy. I mean, it's been crazy, but aren't there like land decks right now going around? In standard, I mean.
So I know that Wrenn and 7, and that's
Yeah.
actually the art for the new card as well.
Yeah.
Wrenn and 7 cares about this.
That's crazy.
And then in other formats as well, I mean, this is going to be able to grab cards from your graveyard. It's going to be able to grab the fetch lands. It will be able to grab things like Strip Mine, some of the lands that you would like to be able to get back onto the battlefield.
Seems like a decent reprint, if you ask me.
Pretty solid card. I'm curious to see how this is going to synergize with this format. Maybe because of those blood tokens, you're going to be pitching those lands more often than not. So this is kind of a nice little payoff for all those lands that you've discarded.
True. Yeah, cool.
Next up, we have another flip card. This one is Katilda, Dawnhart Martyr. Katilda, Dawnhart Martyr is 1, a white and a white for a legendary creature. It's a spirit warlock. It has flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires. It says its power and toughness are each equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. And this one also has a disturb cost. Its power and toughness on the front side are star. So let's just talk about the front, and then we'll break down the back after that.
Spirits are getting so much love, and I love it. This is another crazy card for spirits, dude. Like, I think this is like a bomb. I don't know. I'm really excited to play a new spirit deck. I'm the spirit guy for sure.
So on its own, it's 3 mana for a 1/1 with flying and lifelink.
Okay, on its own, but it'll grow. It's a star.
Oh, I definitely think that it'll grow. I completely agree with you there. I don't think that this is going to be the first creature that you play over the course of a game. So long as you're heavy with enchantments or spirits, I think this is fine.
Yep, I agree.
The flying and lifelink on this makes this very scary. The protection from vampires? What are your thoughts on that one?
I think it's relevant, coming out with all these new... There's like at least a handful of nutty vampires we've already seen, right, in spoilers, that people are going to be playing, I would imagine.
Yeah, that is true. I agree with you there. I don't think that's flavor text given this set.
If it said werewolves, I would just be laughing.
All those werewolves with reach?
Because no one gives a fuck about werewolves.
Oh, I actually... I was going to say, I'm going to disagree with you on that.
I know. I
wanted are getting pushed.
I wanted Hunter to yell at me. What about the back half, dude?
So the back half on this one, you can disturb this card for 3, a white and a white. If you do, it transforms into Katilda's Rising Dawn. It is a legendary enchantment aura. It says enchant creature. Enchanted creature has flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires, and it gets +X/+X, where X is the number of permanents you control that are spirits and/or enchantments. So kind of the same text there that was on the front half. And then, like all the rest of these cards, if it would enter your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So,
I think I like the front half better, but
I mean, you're talking about this for like a spirit tribal deck. In the case that your opponent does end up dealing with this thing, you
that's
kind
true.
of just bring it back for 5 mana. You throw this on one other spirit that you have in control.
That is true. I like it. I wanted to bring up a question that somebody had for us, being Hunter. Did Katilda die?
I don't know the storyline.
I mean, but she was alive earlier.
So
We've already seen the Katilda card.
I have been very, very bad with this one. I know that this is a story spotlight card, so it looks from the artwork as if she did die, and then that disturb cost kind of showcasing that maybe she came back to life somehow. I don't know. I don't know enough about the storyline for this.
Oh, dude, she's in that in the back half of it. That's the what's that artifact that like changes it from night to day?
Yes, so she is standing in the middle of the Celestis for this artwork.
That's sick. I'm really liking all this flavor going around. So if you're looking at all these, looks like she died. And then, funny enough, on the disturb cost, when you bring her back, she's alive again. So it's like kind of opposite of going from alive to spirit. She's going from spirit to alive. That's interesting.
Somebody down in the comments enlighten us for just to help us out here, because obviously we have not followed the story for this set.
But either way, let's go back to it. This card is good. I like it a lot.
I agree. I definitely think this is going to be a bomb. Your opponents are going to have to deal with this, and they're going to have to probably deal with it twice because the disturb cost is pretty, I don't want to say cheap, but pretty fair.
Yeah. For what it's giving you, I would say it's fair, yeah.
All right, and the last card that we're going to be talking about today is Winged Portent. Winged Portent is 1 a blue and a blue for an instant with cleave. It says, draw a card for each creature with flying you control. Or if you pay its cleave cost of 4, a green, and a blue, it says draw a card for each creature you control.
I don't think I'm sold. I mean, I'm sold. Like, I like the 3 mana draw a card for each creature with flying, but like, oh wait, put this in a spirit deck.
I was about to say, dude, as the spirit guy,
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing always
Yeah,
has
wait a
its
minute.
cleave cost for
Yeah,
you.
wait a minute. That's nuts. 3 mana draw, like, it could be at least 3 cards. That's actually, and it's okay, this is a really good card.
I was going to say, dude, I'm waiting for you to like open up your eyes
Really?
here. I think this card is fantastic.
This is a really good card. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I think the decks that want this probably are just never going to cast it for its cleave cost, because
No.
they're either going to be those spirit decks or they're going to be like flying men decks. I think that this card probably is going to see some play outside of just standard as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this also sees a little bit of historic play. There is a mono blue like flying men deck, and I think that this would probably fit in just nice in there.
That's a really good card draw, dude. And the art, look, dude, it's like a skull. Sick.
Some Bat Skull. Batman.
I don't know what else to say. This card is really fucking good. I did
Wait,
it.
no.
No?
No. It's just the Murder of Crows.
Shut up, dude. You're so stupid.
I mean, that's the flavor text.
Oh. Now it's even worse. Okay. I got really confused.
I'm trying.
York Kessig. Cool. I think that's it, David.
All right, so a ton of really good cards that we've talked about today. Don't forget, if you like this video and if you want to see more of this content, make sure that you like and subscribe. Also, follow us on Instagram, not Twitter, because apparently we don't do Twitter. We have a preference on that
Twitter.
one.
We have Twitter.
Okay, you know what? Follow us on whatever kind of social
Dude,
media you can find
look
us on.
up
Let's do that.
the guys at Magic on everything.
Do it. Even
Yeah.
find their LinkedIn, because
Right. Yeah. You porn, dude. We're all there. Let's go.
All right, this is Guys at Magic. This has been a ton of fun. We look forward to talking to you guys next time. Leave a comment down below. Make sure that you like and subscribe and do all that jazz. Later.